This video is a difficult one for me to make because being a cybersecurity professional and a cyber mentor on YouTube, it's pretty embarrassing that I have been hacked and I was part of a phishing attack a couple of days ago.
Hey, old man, give me everything.
Call an ambulance! Call an ambulance! But not for me!
This is exactly what some pathetic hacker sitting in some remote part of the world was hoping would happen. But you know what? You messed with the wrong person. Either you're too lazy or you didn't realize that I'm a cybersecurity professional and you thought you could catch me off guard. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about a hacker who tried to hack me. And you know what? I thought, why not convert this into a full-blown video? So we can do a live analysis of a phishing attack, see what are the tools that we can use that are completely free to analyze and get to the bottom of a phishing attack or any hack for that matter. So make sure you watch this video to the very end, and if you're that hacker, make sure you watch this video as well so that you know how you can improvise going forward and try something a little bit more creative and out of the box. And don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel as well. So a little bit of a premise first. A couple of days ago, I got an email from what looked like Duolingo stating that they wanted to do some sort of YouTube collaborations with me now. So this is very common for YouTube creators where you've got brands that, reach out to you for collaborations and video integrations, etc. So I decided to respond and I was like, okay, let's speak about this and take this forward. And look, this is pretty normal. At this point, I had no clue what exactly was happening. After this, if you have a look at the email trail, I then get a response from them, which is thank you for your response, which, looks perfectly normal. And it's got all the Duolingo themes and everything. And I was just going through the email and that is where something caught my attention, which is the compensation details. Here it says they're going to pay me $5,000 US, out of which 50% is paid beforehand and 50% is paid after the video. Now they're promising this without actually discussing anything about the video terms, conditions, etc. So that is a red flag and it's pretty fishy. And also that's a lot of money for a brand sponsorship as well. Further scrolling down, you see that they say, okay, you know what? We've prepared a contract for you and you've got to download this file. Here, straight up, there's a spelling mistake which says eClosed file. I don't know what eClosed file means. So, hey hacker, if you're checking this, this is one of your first mistakes. Secondly, they also give me this tutorial to, on how to unzip a file. Very kind of you to show me how to do this, but I see exactly where you're going with this. After this, what they're saying is review the materials. It takes no more than 7 minutes, creating urgency, which is very common in phishing emails, as well as asking me to take action, which means send it within 2 days. Now, for those who are looking at this and are scared that, you shouldn't be targeted by a phishing email, there are some very easy checks to know. Number one, something sounds too good to be true or comes out of nowhere. It's, I would say, 80% to 90% a phishing email. So please be careful. And especially if they ask you to click links and download stuff, please wait. Don't do anything of that sort. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect the raw format of this email. To do that, so you just locate the start of the email, click on the 3 dots and go to show original. This is the original message header for this email. Now you can see we've got something called as SPF, DKIM and DMARC. These are pretty much checks, you can think of it in that way, that Google does before an email is sent to your inbox. So before it classifies it as a spam email. Now in this case, 2 tests are passing and 1 is failing. So what we'll do is let's further inspect this specific email. Now one thing that catches my attention is that the DKIM test shows that the domain is duolingo-team.com. Now Duolingo has a domain called duolingo.com. There's nothing called as duolingo-team.com. So first of all, straight up, this is a wrong domain. So biggest red flag. Further, let's scroll down looking at the email in its raw format. They've also given me a download link. So let me find that. So this is the download link right here, which is something called mega.nz/file/some file. So what I've done is I've copied this link and I'm going to go to my sandboxed environment. Now for sandboxing, I use a isolated Kali Linux machine. You can use your own type of VM for your sandbox environment. So what I've done is I've already downloaded the file from that link. So what we'll do is let's go back to the email and let's copy that link again. And let's go to our Kali Linux machine, go to Firefox, paste this here and see what happens. So looks like it's loading. It's loading this site, which is, I know it's going to download a file onto my machine, but let's see what exactly this is. Okay. So yeah, so it says Duolingo-YouTube partnership.zip. So it's a zip file which it's asking me to download. Now, as I've said, I've already downloaded this. So let's quickly go and have a look at the file that I've downloaded. Now, what I'm going to do is on the Kali Linux CLI, I am going to inspect what are the contents of this zip file. In this case, I'm using 7-zip. So what we'll do is let's go to our CLI, and on our CLI, let's cd to downloads. And here what I'll do is I'll paste our command. And so what this command states is that you're listing the contents of a zip file, and the -p is the password that the hackers asked me to use when unzipping the file. So what I'll do is let's put the file name, and that was Duolingo YouTube partnership blah blah blah. So these are the contents of this file. So let's expand this a little bit. So as you can see, there is a YouTube partnership.exe, which is an executable, and there are 3 files which look like some form of video files. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to actually extract this file, and to do that, you just replace the L with X, and that should extract the file here. So we go ls-l, which is a long list, and see this is the folder which it's unzipped it to. So let's cd into that folder, and once we go here, let's long list the files as well, and it's exactly what we saw in the previous 7-zip command. And this is the file which I'm a little bit concerned about. Before we proceed any further, I'd like to thank our sponsors for this video, and that is ProProfs. Let's be real, most workplace training can be boring, excessive, and this can lead to employees tuning out, compliance issues, deadlines creeping up on you, etc. That's where ProProf's Training Maker comes in. It's the world's easiest learning management system, 100% online, built to help businesses onboard, train and certify employees with absolutely zero headaches. With ProProfs, you can create interactive courses within minutes with a drag and drop editor, access a massive library of expert taught ready to use courses, automate compliance and certifications, and never miss another OSHA, HIPAA, or HR deadline again. Track progress, boost engagement with quizzes and surveys, and even white label your courses with your own branding. It's flexible, affordable, and trusted by global leaders like Adobe, Lenovo, and ASO. Whether you're training new hires, running workplace safety programs, or ensuring compliance, ProProf scales to any team size and keeps learning engaging and effective. So if you're ready to simplify your workplace training, make sure you try ProProf's free trial and get started today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this file and upload it to VirusTotal. VirusTotal is a great tool, website, which you can use for testing domains, URLs, IP addresses, files, etc. So it's free to use. So you just go to virustotal.com, and this is used by SOC analysts a lot as well. So what you do is you just go to file, choose file, and then you select the file that you want to analyze. So let's open that one, and it says it's computing hash. Zoom in a bit. Yeah, that's better. Straight up red flags all over. It says it's a Trojan, and it's a Win32 executable file, and there are a lot of vendors that have already sort of flagged this file as malicious. So there you go, our dear hacker. It was pretty simple to catch you. Anyway, what I want to do is I want to further investigate and see what are the things we can find from this specific executable. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to perform some static analysis on this exe file now. Look, given it's a Windows 32 executable file, you would ideally need to run it in a Windows sandbox environment. But A, I don't want to run the executable file, and B, I don't have a Windows sandbox environment as well. So what we'll do is we'll use strings for some static analysis, and let's check that out. So what was the name of the file again? I think it was Duolingo. Yeah, that's the one. So strings, and what we'll do is let's output this to a file called analysis.txt. Okay, that's done. Long list again, and I should be able to see my analysis.txt file here. Okay, cool. So now what we'll do is let's head back to our file explorer and analysis.txt. Let's open this notepad file and see if we get anything from a static analysis perspective. All right, so it looks like it's a lot of gibberish, which I cannot really understand at this point. So yep, this is not giving us a lot of information, but usually this is what you do. You can use commands like string to, you know, get the output of a file and see what exactly is in there. Anyway, this seems a lot and I don't want to waste a lot of time on this hacker anyway. So what I'll do is I will check what type of file this is by using the file command. So for that, you just go file and you input the file name. And it tells me it's a PE32 executable for MS Windows, just like what VirusTotal told me anyway. Now what I'm going to do is I will use a tool called RABIN to perform some further static analysis to exactly tell me what is this exe file going to be doing. So this one here, which is rabin2-s and the file name, will give us the sections from this specific exe file. And the second one, which is with the -i flag, will give us the imports from this specific exe file as well. So let's start with the first one. Paste it here and let's have a look. So we get a decent output on our screen. We'll look at what this is, but before that, let's also run our second command, which is for the imports. And let's paste that here as well. So from the imports, again, it will show you some basic information about what the file is or what it's intended to be doing. Again, it's a PE. It's a 32-bit PE. You can see that here as well. It's a PE32. Subsystem is Windows GUI, and it's just giving us some basic information about what this executable is. But the main information is what we're going to see in our previous command, which was the rabin-s space file name. And what this tells me is you can see a list of kernel32.dll functions, a list of user32.dll functions, as well as a list of GDI32. This is associated with graphics. So this is related to those functions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this completely. And you know what, actually, let me copy both the outputs right up until the end. And let's go to ChatGPT. Why not make use of ChatGPT, right? So let's go to ChatGPT. Look, by the way, if you're judging me, I already know what those things are. It's just that I'm trying to show you something more innovative and make use of AI while it's there. So let's go and let's say, hey, I have been investigating a malware file, which is a PE32. I ran the commands rabin2 with the -s and -i flags, and these are the outputs. Can you please explain, oops, wrong spelling of explain. Can you please explain what this .exe is doing? Okay, and let's paste the output right here. Let's just make sure it's got everything. All right, cool. Let's paste that and let's see what ChatGPT says. Okay, so general file information, rabin2. Okay, this is already what I spoke about, some general information. This is what I'm more concerned about. Okay, the rabin-s, which is the imported functions from kernel.32, it's running these functions, which is to do environment checks. So, you know, enumerate processes, check system memory, delay execution, all of that stuff. From the user32.dll, it says that it can interact with or monitor windows, possibly for key logging, screen captures, or phishing. So potentially what this could be is that, let's say, if I run this command and, sorry, not command, if I run this executable and then I go to my bank website and I'm putting in my passwords, it can potentially check what are the characters that I'm inputting or what are the inputs from my mouse, all of that stuff. And finally, from GDI32.dll, it says that it's probably getting screen capture or drawing operation. So it can draw fake GUI elements over other apps. I don't know what they're going to do with this, but they're planning on doing something. Okay, so behavioral inference. Putting this together, It's going to check running processes, it's going to perform window and input manipulation, and it's going to do screen capturing as well. Let's say you've executed this. This could potentially spell doom, and you could be held to ransom, or you could lose your passwords, your money, a lot of really bad stuff. And ChatGPT is also saying, hey, this is malware-like behavior. The combination of GUI manipulation, process enumeration, and screen capture is typical for info stealers or banking trojans. There you go. Sometimes combined with phishing overlays. So hacker, you tried your best, but I think in the end you just fell a little short. So there you go, guys. This was a live analysis of a phishing email, inspecting the elements of a file that I was being forced to download under the pretext of making lots of money and creating some sort of urgency within the user's mind. And that's exactly how these filthy, dirty, pathetic hackers try to steal your money and put you at risk. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I hope this video has been helpful and entertaining, and I'll see you in the next video.